So I'm going to show you how to fix a common error that we were seeing with TK report cards not correctly calculating the corresponding standard. So the first thing you want to make sure that you're in S1. And notice it's going to default to Q3 because we're in Q3. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change it to S1 because any changes you want to make here, you're going to do. Now, I'm going to create a new assignment. Now, I'm going to do a fake version of the lowercase letters. This one's already been done, but I'm going to start from scratch. So I'm going to go up here to create an assignment. This is going to be lowercase letters. It's going to be an assessment, so I'm going to click test. Now, there are 26 letters in the alphabet, so I'm going to put in 26. Now, here's another key thing. If you're doing it this way, you've got to make sure that this date falls within S1. So it doesn't matter what date it is. So I'm just going to backdate it to December 3rd, which is definitely going to put it in S1. I've got to attach my standard. So go up here to standard. Again, this is identifying lowercase letters. So I'm going to check this box right here. I'm going to save and close. And there's the assignment that I created. So I'm going to go in and do some fake scores for this. So I'm going to click here. So here is my score, my traditional score that I'm going to plug in. Here is my standard score. So I'm going to just start putting in some random scores. So let's say this kid got a 2, this kid got a 13, 16, 24. And I'm going to fill them all in because it'll make it clear a little bit later why I'm doing this. And then 6. Okay, so as you notice, each time I put in a number, it populated a corresponding standard score. But here's the problem. If you notice that for TK, your standard is if they get a 13, it should be a 4, but it's populated as a 2. And the reason is the scale is set at 26. Now, if you've already done it with the scale of 26, I'm going to show you how to fix that with the least amount of work as possible. So again, I've put in my scores, but they're not calculating correctly. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. First off, I'm going to save them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to my assignment list. And if you notice, I've got this right here for lowercase letters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this assignment. And I want all this stuff. I don't have to change all of this because I have my name. I have that's a test. I have it's an account in the final grade. I already have my standard test. So I don't want to go through the habit of creating a whole new assignment. So what I can do is I can click duplicate. And what that duplicate does, it's going to generate the same exact parameters, but notice it put _1. Now, this is how you set up properly so it's going to do the correct standards. Notice that it's still backdated to the 3rd. So what I want to do is right here, it has a problem to do with this 26. Now remember, 13 needs to register as a 4. So I want my max score entry points to be 13. Now, well, what about those kids who know more than 13 letters, who may be at a 24 or 25? So this is what you do. You're actually going to count those things above it as extra points. So if I click on extra points, I put in 13. Now I have the possibility of entering up to 26. But what this does is that anything above 13 and above will be marked as a 4. So what I did again was I changed the score entry points to 13, and then I added extra points for 13 for a max possible of 26. That's all I have to do. So I'm going to click save and close. Now, I don't want to have to re-enter all the scores from here. I just want to basically cut and paste from here and put them here. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do now. So what you need to do is you need to go over to grading, score sheet. So here are my names of my letters. So this was my lowercase one that I just created. Here's the one that I duplicated when I made the same mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here, click, copy, click, paste, and notice the exact same scores went over here. But when I click on this and say, go to assignment, I want to save and continue, of course. Now, if you notice, it has done the standard scores correctly. So a 13 registers as a 4. 15, it's above 13, but it also registers as a 4. 12 registers as a 3. So again, that's a process to take scores you've already created, duplicate the assignment, and then just copy and paste those scores so you don't have to redo the entire thing. So hopefully that helps you fixing some of the standard scores that you need to correct. Now, the next thing you'd want to do is you have 2 assignments here. So remember, on my assignment list, this first one that I made was the mistake. This is the corrected one. So you want to make sure that the one that you don't want, you go over here to edit, and you're going to want to delete it. So confirm delete, remove and delete scores. And now that means the corrected one that has with a 13 registering as a 4, so anything above 13 registers as 4, that's the one that's going to appear in your grade book. So again, that's the process you want to go to correct those ones where it's not calculating, especially for the ones that are 26 or higher, and a 13 actually represents mastery or a 4.